Hey guys, this is Lisa, the purple haired mom. Welcome back to our Small Business Sunday, Small Business Tip Sunday. We've got a lot to cover actually, because I don't know if you can see the description of the video. It says what it says. It's still crazy. We've still got a lot going on right now. So let's go ahead and get into our intro, and then we will get right into everything that's going on right now. Hello. Hi. Was ist up? So, guys, today we are going to be talking about everything that's affecting small businesses right now. And it's not even just small businesses. It's small business, independent contractors, just everybody right now. And I wish I could say that there was some better things happening, but we've actually gotten a lot of updates as far as what's kind of the holdup on a lot of things. And we don't have a lot of information, but we do have some. So first of all, I would like everybody to look in the corner. Oh, wait, right here. Look right here. You guys see my new logo? I absolutely adore this. That is me and my daughter. She's my little assistant, as you guys can see in the intro video. First off, I want to give shout outs and props to BizBabe Logos for this amazing, amazing logo. You'll see it all over the YouTube page now, all over my business pages, and now right here. I'm pointing in the wrong spot, right here. So if you guys want some information on them, or you want to check out their website, I put the information in the description box below with all of my other social media. But they did an amazing job. They did an absolutely amazing job. I absolutely love it. And my daughter loves it too. So it's a great, great logo. They do amazing work. These are actually hand sketched. So there's a lot of time and effort that goes into each one of their logos. So thank you, BizBabe Logos. So let's talk. All right. So we are now in the home stretch. Okay. The home stretch of coming into February, and a lot of things have kind of come up with everything that was given out at the end of December. Okay. So let's talk about this. I apologize for my no makeup, but it's Sunday. I don't usually put makeup on Sunday, so natural look today. Thank you. So, all right, first thing that we want to talk about is, when did all this stuff get implemented? So the last week of December, we had the bill heard around the world pretty much, because it was set up for everything to be signed on the 26th, right after Christmas, for everything to be implemented. But unfortunately for us, the then president decided that he wanted to try to push the envelope. We all knew that when he was like, no, I want this, that it wasn't going to happen. So it got signed a day after, and a lot of people were like, oh, it's just a day, but that one day caused a lot of issues. So what I want to start with is the PPP, because the Payment Protection Program opened back up about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Some lenders a little bit earlier than that. Now, the Paycheck Protection Program is the program that they put out to help struggling small businesses and independent contractors kind of to help out with the wages that they weren't getting, or that they weren't able to pay their people that work for them, whether they be W-2 workers, independent contractors themselves, whatever it happened to be. That is what the Paycheck Protection Program is for. It's basically exactly what it says, protecting your payroll and your paychecks. So this is technically the third installment. They say two, but it's kind of the third, because the first installment was a big fail, because it was all large companies that kind of engulfed all of the funds for that, and small businesses were left standing in their dust, because lenders were being very, very selective when it came to who they were starting off with their applications. A lot of them decided that these bigger loan amounts were going to get preferential treatment, because these are bigger companies. They tend to, they knew where their revenue was coming from, and they also knew it's hot up here. They also knew that they were going to bounce back a little better, so they went ahead and decided to give them preferential treatment. But you also have to think, these loans that these companies were getting, these were 6-digit, sometimes 7-digit loans. So you had an amount that was put in for the payment protection program, and it was just completely drained within a couple of weeks, because these were all 6- and 7-digit loans that these lenders were going ahead and pushing through first. So you had all these smaller loans, the 5, 6 up to the 5-digit, the 4- and 5-digit loans that just sat there. So they went ahead and did the program again, opened up the program again, gave out more funds, and that was what actually was considered payment protection round 1. So that whole thing together was kind of lumped together. So they got a little bit more help with round 1 in the second batch, because that was all of the people that kind of got left behind the first time. So now we're into payment protection program round 2. So what has happened since round 1? Well, round 1, they opened up forgiveness portals for a lot of round 1. So a lot of people started going ahead and putting in for forgiveness. Now, forgiveness means that you do not have to pay these loans back as long as they went primarily towards actual paychecks. So as long as you were paying yourself, your people, what have you, and everything was going towards that, then that amount of the loan can be forgiven. So a lot of people put in for forgiveness portals. A lot of forgiveness portals didn't even open up until maybe about a month to 2 months ago. So everybody was just starting to really put in for the forgiveness. Now, payment protection program round 2 started off right after the bill, but they didn't really, they started implementing the programs, and the lenders, what they did is some of the lenders, it was places like MBE, which is MBE Capital, and which is Minority Business Capital. They had minority business lenders actually go first, because they kind of got stuck last time. So they started going first, and a lot of them put in, they got in contact with the people that had gotten round 1. If you got round 1, you got first dibs. So they went ahead and did that. They contacted people, had them fill out the applications. Now, in order to get payment protection program round 2, you had to have a 25% decrease in revenue from 2019 to 2020. So you should have something to be able to show that, whether it's bank statements, it's a Schedule C. It does not have to be filed. It has to be, if you have a Schedule C for 2020, then, or you have a 941 if you have W-2 employees, they have those you can actually have filled out ready to be sent, but a lot of people don't fill out, don't do their taxes right now. So it just needs to be actually filled out, or invoices or something to show that you had a decreased revenue from 2019 to 2020. Now, what happened is like the first week of it was all of the minority business owners and the minority business lenders. Then the next week to week and a half, a lot of the other vendors, or a lot of the other lenders, like Biz to Capital, Smart Biz, Ready Capital, Blue Vine, a lot of these places, and along with local banks, started opening up their portals for the payment protection program. So they started sending things in, and immediately when they started sending things in, a lot of these applications were getting denied, and they shouldn't have been getting denied. What was happening was, when these people were they were pushing it through to the SBA showed a loan outstanding. So it was not allowing them to take advantage of the payment protection program. Well, what had happened is, it technically wasn't in outstanding loan. It was their loan that was in forgiveness from the first round. The SBA's systems did not update to show that these loans that were in forgiveness did not count towards outstanding loans. So everything got put on halt. So there's, like myself, I have my round 2 application in, and I've had it in since I went through 2 lenders to see what was going to happen, because you can apply with multiple lenders. It's just once you sign paperwork with one of the lenders, then you can't apply with anybody else. So I went through 2 lenders. I went through my original lender, and I went through a second lender, which is actually an up-and-coming lender for these types of programs this time around, Biz to Credit. Both of which, one I applied for back on the 8th, which I still haven't heard a thing from them. I have a pre-approval, but I haven't heard anything from them. But they're also notoriously slow. MBE Capital, get it together. And then Biz to Credit, they are one of the ones that is stalled right now. Cabbage, or I believe K Services, which is the payment protection program through Cabbage, is also stalled out because the SBA is trying to fix the glitch in their system. So they've got all of these people that are kind of on backlog with their applications. So there was no money flowing. From what I heard as of a couple of days ago, money was starting to flow again, but it's obviously a backlog. And I heard a little rumor, and I don't like it when I hear rumors like this, but I heard a little rumor that some of these lenders were doing their bullshit again and were giving preferential treatment to the higher up loans, which would make sense because a lot of the loans that I'm seeing still stalled out with no money flowing are the 4-digit and 5-digit loans. The lower loans, like from 1,000 up to 90,000 loans, are being kind of put on the back burner, and a lot of these 6-digit loans and 7-digit loans are getting pushed through. Now, there is actually specific wording in the bill this time that is supposed to be against that. So they need to not play games because these lenders they're able to be reported. Not only that, but just a little word of advice. Payment protection program does not pull credit. If your lender is pulling credit and telling you that you are denied based on credit, report them immediately and go with a different lender because they are not supposed to be pulling credit. Some of these lenders are trying to play some shady games and play stupid games. You will win stupid prizes, including a report not only to the SBA, but the SBA will report them to a lot of other places, and that they will not be a lender for the SBA anymore. And that can hurt a lot of businesses. On to the next one. We spent a lot of time on that one. So the other thing that I want to talk about is that the EIDL loans, the economic income disaster loans. Whew, it's a mouthful. So the EIDL loans were supposed to also come out with new loans. You were supposed to be able to, now as far as applying for a second one, that I have not heard. This was supposed to be for people that didn't get a chance to file before when it was supposed to close. The actual closing of the EIDL loans was supposed to be December last year. They went ahead and they left it open for till December of 2021. And there was supposed to be a new round of grants. Now, they have gone back and forth with how these grants were supposed to go. First off, they said that they were going to, people who didn't get the full grant of last time were going to get the remaining of the $10,000 grant that was supposed to be per business that the SBA decided, oh, we're going to do this per employee. That wasn't how the bill was worded. Then it went to that they were going to open up a portal specifically for the grants, and then they changed their mind again, and now it's supposedly by invite only. The problem I see with that is that leaves it open for discrimination for the SBA because there was a lot of people that had banking problems because of some of the games that were being played with lenders and with banks and some of the things that weren't the company's fault, that they ended up having to jump through hoops, and some of them haven't even gotten funded yet because they're still waiting in reconsideration. And the thought is that these people are going to get looked over when it comes to the grant process because they're in reconsideration. That should not happen. If they were eligible for the grant, they should get the grant, because a lot of them missed out on the grant because they got put into reconsideration, or because they were denied for a dumb reason, or because their bank wouldn't accept the funds and they weren't aware their bank wouldn't accept the funds. So they should also be put on that list for getting the grant money. But we don't know what's going on with that because the SBA is being very hush-hush as far as what's going on. We're going into the beginning of February, starting tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow. Let me check. Yep, tomorrow. We're going into February as of tomorrow, and we don't know what's going on. We have not gotten any type of solid answer regarding the EIDL loans right now. So we're still up in the air. So it's still a crazy nut race. You've got all these companies that are panicking because they're trying to keep from shutting down. They don't want to shut down. They would like to go back to business. Yes, please. Can I please? I would love to go back to my business. But a lot of us are going to be spending a lot of time trying to rebuild because a lot of our particular, where we work, it's not even where we work, it's what we work with. I work with events. The wedding industry and the event industry took a hard hit, and it's going to take a little while for it to build back up because we are in a specific type of field that if it's just not there, we're depending on other people to want to do events. And right now people are not wanting to do large gatherings, obvious reasons. So you've got all these people trying to struggle to get their stuff together to keep their businesses open, and we're hitting every single bump in the road. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, let me just compose myself for this one. All right, guys. So we are at the last week of January, the last day of January, and unemployment for many states is still a shit show. There is no other way to say it. They have failed miserably. Some states worse than others. So I want to talk about the California EDD, the Employment Development. What is it? The employment. I never know what it is. What the heck is the EDD? I call them the employment dummies because they really, really tick me off. It's the Employment Development Department. Okay. So let's talk about the EDD, shall we? Let me get comfortable. So the EDD has been going through hell for the last several months. The better part of a year. Can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So let me just tell you what happened over the last several days, okay? We're talking days, like from the last time I talked about them to now, which is 7 days, like a week from Sunday to Sunday, more shit has happened. So they were already talking about the 1.4 million accounts that they had in a status where they were suspended for fraud, okay? Suspected fraud. They really didn't know because they had all this fraud going on in prisons and crime rings, and it literally it was right in their face, and they did nothing about it. Some of it, which it's funny, it was reported earlier, and then all of a sudden the reports disappeared, that some of this fraud was actually committed from inside the EDD. So you had representatives who were actually helping fraud along, and then they were leaving their jobs. So that's what was happening. So on the 28th of the month, they had an audit. So I have my other computer screen here, which is telling me exactly what happened. So we had a report from State Auditor Elaine Howell, and she said at least $10.4 billion in fraud has been identified on the first $112 billion in benefits paid since the pandemic began. But more claims have been paid since the audit was finalized. The number is now $114 billion. So officials of the state EDD said earlier this week they have now confirmed that more than $11 billion in fraud has happened, and they're investigating $19 billion in other suspicious claims for potential fraud. So what they did is they misconstrued at the beginning of this pandemic what was supposed to happen with benefits. They were told to streamline their system so it just made things move a little quicker. But what they did was they took out all the security measures completely. Not only that, but they already, before the pandemic began, were very, very awful when it came to their transparency, when it came to the way that they handled their call center. They had already been audited on 2 different occasions and had failed those audits as well. And this was before the pandemic. So between the months of April and June, the auditor showed that 1% of the phone calls coming into the EDD were being answered. 1%. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, that's 1% of the calls. And then it got worse, because then from there to now, 0.5% of the calls were being answered. They found out, they did a huge audit just a month or two ago that showed that when they hired all of these employees to come and help field these calls that were coming in, because there was a lot of people that were stuck in backlog, a bunch of people that were stuck in ID verification, there was just a bunch of issues going on. They found out that these people that they hired, a lot of them were working from home, and many of them were just not answering the phone. So they were getting paid to do nothing. They were not answering the phone. And if you've ever had to call the EDD, you've heard, we have too many calls to handle. Please try again later. And you will hear that for hours and hours. There are literally, I have tried to call them before because I have an EDD account. Because right now my business is furloughed, so I qualified for pandemic unemployment. So I have been frozen, not frozen, but I have been stuck in pending since 12/26. Initially, it was supposed to be for the ID verification. I went through my ID verification. I uploaded documents to the DocuSign. Then all of a sudden, 2 days later, I got the lovely message, the notice of suspension due to potential fraud. We will need to confirm your identity. And then I uploaded documents to the ID.me. And that went through, and I got a text message from the EDD stating that they verified my identity on 1/10. So from there, it should have only been 48 hours to open my payments back up. That didn't happen. So I got the message that they had uploaded my new 11 weeks from the new bill, so that they had added 11 weeks to my account. And I also got a message that I was able to certify again. So the last time that I certified was on 1/24. So 1/24, I went through and did my certification, and I had 2 different reps tell me that once I was able to certify on 1/24, that should push through all the payments and I would be paid for all of the pending payments from 12/26. That was a lie. I now have 5 weeks pending and I still have no answers. I have called several different reps. I usually have to call directly at 8 o'clock in order to get through. I've had several different reps and several different so-called explanations. I had one person tell me there was a pending issue on my account. I asked what the issue was, and her answer was, I don't know. I called another time and it actually rang, and I was put into the queue to hold, and I ended up in somebody's voicemail. Well, that person ended up calling me back several hours later because I did leave a voicemail for him. And he said, once again, oh, well, I see a pending issue. I said, well, what is this pending issue? He said, I don't know. They started mailing things out on Monday. You should receive something by mail or email by the end of the week. Well, I have received neither. It is the end of the week, and I have not received anything. I actually sent something via their portal, the EDD portal, and I haven't received anything as far as any type of response, and that was sent on the 20th. So I have ID verified. I have been able to certify. My weeks have been updated, but I'm still sitting in pending, and they don't have any answers. And the EDD has been pressed by the news, by state assembly people, by state representatives, and the governor's office to be more transparent in what they're doing. And the EDD has basically just covered their ears and covered their eyes and said, we don't feel like doing that. They'll update their Twitter all the time with some useless stuff for, that we don't want to hear about, but we can't get updates to what's going on with us. So more about, I don't want to make this video too long, but I do think that it's important for everybody to get some answers, because if your state is having any type of payment issues, whether it be stalled pay, I know Ohio is having the same issue, stalled payments, pending payments, you're not getting, nothing has been updated, you're at max benefits paid and you haven't had your 11 weeks updated, you're being told to reapply when you shouldn't have to reapply. There are steps that you can take, okay? So make sure that you are bringing in representatives, your state representatives, your local representatives. Ohio does not have assembly people. I know California has assembly people. If you have assembly people that you can reach out to them. So you can always find out, you can Google who your local representative is, and their offices will help you. Start contacting the governor's office to your state and let them know that, look, hey, we need help, okay? This bill that came out, it came out at the end of December, and there's still a lot of things that haven't been clarified as of right now. We still don't know as far as what the glitch with the PPP, a lot of people are still waiting for funding. EIDL loans, we still don't know what's going on with those. Unemployment has become an absolute nightmare, and people are stuck in pending. And some people, just to give you an idea of how bad it is, this is a statement from the actual California Auditor's Office. The EDD did not take substantial action to bolster its fraud detection efforts for this unemployment insurance program until months into the pandemic. Specifically, EDD waited about 4 months to automate a key anti-fraud measure, took incomplete action against claims filed from suspicious addresses, and removed a key safeguard against improper payments without fully understanding the significance of the safeguard. The audit notes that in May 2020, the EDD was warned by the Department of Labor's Office of the Inspector General that California was likely to see at least $1.2 billion in potential fraud based on the 2.9 million new claims that the EDD had received in March and April 2020. But some key anti-fraud systems were not put in place until September and October, months after the warning was issued. It mishandled a problem that arose in September when Bank of America, which is who handles all of the payments for the EDD, they contract with them to issue debit cards for the state, froze 344,000 debit cards on which unemployment benefits were paid out to claimants. EDD did not have a plan in place to ensure that it could unfreeze those accounts found to belong to legitimate claimants, and has been slow to acknowledge its role in freezing these accounts. Keep in mind, the EDD in December transferred power. Their director left. Their director had just received this position in February, and then went through the pandemic and then left in December. To me, that's a little suspicious that this happened. Obviously, something happened, and then she left. They did not give details as to why she left. They said that she just resigned her position. So the new director that came in as of this month is now having to clean up this mess. But the problem is they're still not acknowledging that they had a role in it. So there's a lot of people that are not getting the help that they need. So what can you do? What you can do is you can put in a request, like I said, to your local state representative, your governor's office, your assembly people, council members, whoever you need to contact. Contact any and everyone. Contact the White House. Contact the media. That's what a lot of people in LA did, was or in California, it's not just LA, contacted the media, and it started pushing the EDD for answers. If you're stuck in a payment limbo, and you are behind in your rent, you're behind in your bills, you're behind in pretty much everything. There was also rental assistance and bill assistance that was put into this particular bill. Contact your local community action agency. If they do not give you the answers that you are looking for, contact your local representative and put them in the hot seat. I guarantee that a call from the representative's office to the community action will definitely change their tune. I've had to do it. So there are things out there, but you definitely have to look as far as what is out there. Now, as far as everything else, don't let it slide. Keep calling your local unemployment offices. If the waits are long, put it on hold, or let the hold music play, do some things around your house, but make sure that you're trying to get answers. Tell them you need to speak with an adjuster. Tell them you need to speak with a tier 2 rep. Tell them you need to speak with somebody who can help you. Do not let them tell you that they cannot help you, because that's what their job is. That's what their job is. So hopefully we'll be getting some good news within the next week that we can update everybody with as far as with what's going on. I'd like to be able to move on from this so we could do other small business tips. But this is the most important stuff really happening right now when it comes to small businesses, when it comes to independent contractors, when it comes to, people trying to keep themselves afloat. This is the things that are the most important, because you have to be able to get your information. And if you're not getting the information from the people that are supposed to be giving it to you, then we will find the information. There's a whole bunch of people out there that are doing research for people and giving out information. If you are part of California, please check out the channels of Shelly's Millions and Ginny Silver. They have been doing a lot of research on the ins and outs of the EDD and have a lot of dedicated information that they have been able to dig up as far as what's going on. They have made themselves knowledgeable because they themselves are also going through the EDD. So it's not just affecting, they're not just doing this for everybody else, it affects them. So they're very, very invested in what's going on. So hopefully we'll be able to move on from this in the next Small Business Tip Sunday. But I will talk to you guys on Thursday. I'm hoping to have another video uploaded for something else. It kind of got away from me. I've been dealing, like I said, with all of the EDD stuff, the PPP stuff. It's been getting on my nerves. But hopefully we'll be able to chat on Thursday about something exciting, maybe something, I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, please leave any comments and let me know what you'd like to talk about on Thursday when it's a little bit more fun. So hopefully everybody's doing well, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend and have a great week. Don't forget to smile. Everything will work itself out and we'll all come out better on the end.